Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flawless, a music podcast. My name is Liam, and I'm here with my co-host George.
Hey, Team Music!
And Grant.
Hello there, music fans.
Each episode of Flawless, a host or a guest nominates an album that they think is flawless, and we discuss how they discovered it, what they love about it, and what makes it flawless for them. We have a Facebook group. It's called Flawless Friends and Family. It's where we discuss all things music that we love and that you love, and we post in there about upcoming episodes and what albums are nominated. You can find the link to that in our show notes. And special thanks to our guests from this week who actually saw the post that we put in there and then shared it onto her wall as well. So we've got
Excellent.
a whole bunch of
Look at
feedback.
that.
Here we go.
Bonus material.
First
That's
time
it.
ever. Yeah. Less we have to think about, the more we can just repeat what other people say.
That's right. I'm all for that.
For it. And of course, we have a Patreon. You can back us from as little as $1 a month, and you get early access to all our episodes, access to our bonus episodes, and that warm, fuzzy feeling inside that you're helping us spread the flawless love. You can find us at patreon.com/flawlessamp.
How's the cap looking, Liam?
I haven't had to speak to Patreon for a little while. The growth is slowing. It's still growing, obviously.
Yes.
You know, we're
Yeah.
still raking it in, Scrooge McDuck style.
Yeah.
But
Rolling.
Yeah, but you know, if people want to pick that up.
It is
a little
limited,
bit.
as we said before.
Yes.
I
Previous
started a
episodes.
Patreon for my D&D group.
Oh, yes.
So to keep the lights on for when we had...
So what's the cap on that? $1 million? $1.5 million?
Yeah,
Yeah.
1.5.
Yeah.
Bar.
Because I can have like 3 games a night. So,
Yeah.
you know.
$1.5 million a month sounds about right for that.
Sleep's optional.
So there we go. But,
Cool.
So you're announcing, Liam.
Yes.
But
And
what
yet-
does that mean?
Yes.
I am not hosting, per se. Or it is not mine. I'm not nominating.
You're not
That's what it is.
nominating.
I knew what it was.
Yay!
Because we have a guest.
Yes, we do.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Carly, and I'm nominating the Regurgitator album Unit.
Wow.
Nice. Jump straight.
You just jump straight in
into
there.
it.
There we
Just
go.
like, I'm Carly, I'm nominating an album, so screw you. You don't need to know my credentials.
There I am. Yeah. This is
Well-
what's happening now, right?
Yeah.
I feel
Given
like
you have musicians come on here and you have all of these very knowledgeable, wise people, I'm racking my brain going, what have I got to say about myself? I'm not a musician. I
Oh.
managed a band for 5 minutes, so I think that was just an excuse to go out on a school night drinking.
Nice.
Um,
What was the band?
Oh, they were called the Brunswicks. They
Okay.
were around for about 5
Were they
minutes.
based
Yes.
around Fortitude Valley?
They certainly were, yes.
Okay.
But no, I've got zero musical prowess.
Cool.
Long-time music fan, been
That's it.
seeing lots of live music since I was a kid. So I'm here to wax lyrical about Regurgitator's Unit.
So you have said a bit of a first, because I'm pretty sure, to make correct me, I'm pretty sure you're the first person to wear the shirt of the album.
Of the album.
That you're actually nominated. I think we even had
Yeah.
people wearing one of the band shirts they nominate, but I think the actual pure album
What was the gent's
shirt-
name?
Was it Tim Stewart? Did he have a Clash shirt on? Or
Oh, I think so. But then, yeah, we've had people who have been like implying the band, but not going, oh, this is a motherfucking album.
Yeah.
Just in case I forget on the way here.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
remind myself,
yeah.
hey.
So you look in the mirror and go, too new.
Cool. So, Unit is the second studio album by Australian rock band Regurgitator, released in November 1997. And quoting straight from Wikipedia, its style is a mixture of 1980s style synthesized pop music and alternative rock with some hip-hop influence as well, which...
No shit, Sherlock.
is
Yeah,
a
I
pre-
think
is a
it's pretty good.
It's a pretty good summary of
I
Regurgitator
read
in
that.
general, I think. Synth
Yes,
and rock and
absolutely.
hip-hop, when they love hip-hop, they do stuff like that. So, yeah.
Wiki's kind of nailed it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm.
Tell us how you discovered Unit. What was your first exposure to it?
My first exposure to the album itself, I was at uni, so I would have been in my second year of uni, and going to see live music pretty much every week, and just kind of stumbled across them probably at the Roxy before it was the Arena, before it was knocked down for fancy apartments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So a
Yes,
Brisbane-based
fine.
band, born and
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely.
Always.
You just
Very
said Australian,
iconically
yeah.
Brisbane band.
Iconically
Absolutely.
Brisbane band.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
there were a few really big bands around at the time. These guys stayed local, really. I do remember reading somewhere that they didn't really tour a hell of a lot overseas for personal reasons. And yeah, they really did their time over in the Roxy pretty much once a month for 2 years from the
Yeah.
start. Yeah.
Nice.
So they were
Yep.
the house band.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
And so this album, why this one in particular? Not the debut or anything after.
This-
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
yeah. So
Second year uni or
I
going?
definitely attempted to nominate 2 playing, and then I thought, no, I think Unit grabbed me more. I think it has more excitement to me, and I think it might have been a time and a place thing. I think it was, the memories that are associated with it.
Sure.
Yeah,
We do have a lot of those.
So I think that's what kind of attracted me to it. But the fact that they're still going now and they're still touring and I'm still seeing them semi-regularly at the age of 40-something is still bringing that band to your mind constantly. Yeah.
Because I think this is definitely the band's favourite album because they've got a tour coming up in a couple of weeks for a big concert here in Brisbane, and then they're taking it on the road as well to celebrate the 25th anniversary
25th.
of Unit coming out.
Yeah.
They also toured the same, very similar thing for the 20th anniversary and also the 15th. I remember specifically seeing those 2 shows over the last 10 years of like, when this, so every time,
stop it.
so they do that, they're like, oh, okay, this is the 20th anniversary of Unit. And then we're like, okay, cool. You want to do the 20th anniversary of any of your other albums? And they're like, 25th anniversary of Unit, everybody.
Well, this one went platinum 3 times in Australia.
So I think this is definitely their most popular, the one they're most known for, their
Yeah.
most successful.
And I think for the band, they always said it was their favourite.
Yeah.
They had the most fun playing it. They had the most fun recording it. Their first album, I think, there was a lot of pressure. They flew over to Thailand to record it. It was very fraught with all kinds of shenanigans. But I think there was a lot of pressure from the record company for that first one.
For the first one to get
Yeah.
it to make
And I
it
think
a
the second one,
success.
you could hear it in the music. They are having so much fun.
And this chart, not only got the airplay and recognition in sales, but it also got 5 ARIA awards that year, including Album of the Year
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
and Artwork of the Year, of which you are wearing.
Correct. And as Kwan says, it was a yellow dot.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
But it's
people
the way
really
you
latched
did
onto
it.
Yeah.
I know.
The way you wear
Not
it.
just
And
any
they
yellow
won-
dot,
No.
right? It's
Yeah.
got to be a specific yellow dot in the right place with the right
Correct.
look.
Exactly. It's
Font.
art. It's art.
Absolutely.
No, Art was the next one.
Oh,
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Wow.
Inside
Dad joke.
Inside
There you go.
Regurgitator joke for everybody there.
You're here all night.
Yeah. I'm here the whole week.
Carly, did you want to tell us who the members of Regurgitator were at the time? for
At the
recording
time.
of this?
So Kwan Yeomans and Ben Eli. So Kwan was singer, songwriter, guitar player. Ben was all 3 of those. And you also had Martin Lee on the drums. So Martin Lee was with them with the first 2 albums. And then there was some controversy / interesting goings on. And he was no longer with the band once they toured the album. Yeah, or he left halfway through the tour
Okay.
for Unit. Yeah.
Wow.
Depends on who you talk to as to what happened. I definitely know the story, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, so I'm not going to.
Well, there's no pressure there, yeah.
But
So-
interestingly, the person, I didn't write his name down, but the person they got him to replace on drums is still in the band
Is that
23 years later.
Pete.
So
Peter Koskett.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
Pete.
So it's not like one of the things where it's like, because it's definitely the 2 main, Kwan and Ben are the 2
Oh, the
main
2 main
songwriters,
guys.
the 2 front
Yeah.
guys.
Songwriters, yeah.
They write their songs, they sing the songs that they write.
Yep.
You know, they're definitely leading it.
Was it reminded me of the whole We Are Scientists thing that we did before, where it was like we had Keith and Chris, who are like the main guys, doing like guitar and bass, and then it was just like and others, and like the percussion didn't even get to be in the band. They were like they were just like touring with them or recording with them or whatever, and so that's the feel I get from Regurgitator.
No. So
Pete's
this one's
pretty
more
much-
like the drummer is like he
actually
came
in
in.
the
Yeah.
band.
So
For sure,
normally with
yeah.
that you'd get that rotating cast of drummers. So one of them would come
Yeah.
in maybe 5 years. They were like, okay, I've had enough of not being in a band but touring with you, and I'll go
Yeah.
on break. Whereas I think this has been more like, no, it's that guy. He's been on the band for 23 years, and
And
Doing
he's
the
kicked
thing.
on to their kids show as well. So they've got the Pogo Go show now. So I've got to say the last 3 times I've seen them have been with my 6-year-old.
nice.
Yep, they do kids songs. They released an album. So they do some of their songs from their original albums. Some of the lyrics are changed.
Yeah.
So much so that my nieces only just learned that what's at the end of Satan's rainbow
Yes.
is Satan's rainbow and not Santa's rainbow.
Nice.
So they changed the words to make them more family friendly.
Family friendly, yeah.
And
You'd have
Yeah.
to,
I
right?
had written those lyrics down. So we'll tick. We're lyric buddies, except you. I did say Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Satan's rainbow for the grown-ups, Santa's
Yes.
rainbow for the
Yeah.
littlies.
They should do one of those tiny toddler gigs that the Trifford puts on.
Oh,
That'd be
well,
very,
Ben
that'd be very
did.
cool.
Ben did.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Ben
nice.
did his solo there.
Yep.
He played with Tim Rogers.
Oh, nice.
My daughter, I think she tolerated Ben because
Right.
she knew how much I wanted to be there. But once it got to Tim, she was like, I'm out. I'm going outside for colouring in.
Didn't
And
like
she
Tim.
dragged me out, and my nieces stayed, had a great time. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like Tim's got that style on stage that you really either get. I don't think it would appeal to kids, even if the songs were like kid-friendly songs. It's like, George,
Hello.
had you heard of Regurgitator or Unit before Carly popped it in the group chat?
So I had heard of Regurgitator as being like a Brisbane iconic band because I used to volunteer at 4ZZZ and put radio shows on. And there's quotas that you have to meet about like where you've
Aussie
got
music.
Yeah.
like Aussie music,
Brisbane
local
music.
music,
And
Yeah.
local.
And
even
Brizzy
that
pop.
local, really?
and
I
if
didn't
it's
know
local
that.
music like Brisbane music, and also if you've got like female members and stuff like that. And so at times they've had female members in the band, and so you were like, man, I can hit 4 of these quotas with one track.
Bang.
Got it, yeah. Tick,
Like
tick,
nailed
tick.
it, yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
But I hadn't.
Quick
really-
shout out to Saya, who's been a previous guest on the podcast, and she was in Regurgitator's lineup for a little while.
Absolutely, and Saya is an absolute babe
Yeah.
of human being, an incredible synth player, and has played this album on one of their tours.
Yeah.
So, like, has done synthy stuff. So that's
Yeah.
cool. But I actually saw Regurgitator because I went to go and see what could be an iconic Brisbane gig back in the 20th of May 22. Stress of Leisure, Scream Feeder, Regurgitator, all in
Wow.
one lineup at the Princess Theatre in Wollongabba, and I was like, well, I'm going to that then.
Yes.
And it was the first time I saw Regurgitator, but they didn't have synthes, so
No. They haven't had synths on stage for a while.
I know. So they didn't have synthes, and I was like, I wanted synthes, so
They didn't provide you with what you required.
no, like,
I think they just play backing tracks on some stuff, don't they? They just have it fed in
Yeah,
from the side
they-
of stage when they need to.
they
Yep.
do, and then they just have like solid bants
Yeah.
between them. It's just banter.
Yeah.
Like it's half banter, half music.
I love it.
The
Love
entire
it.
show.
Love it.
So
They can do no wrong, can they?
Oh, that is true. That is true. They did have a guitar. Had a guitar
For a
player
little
for a
while.
couple of years. Shane, I think his name was.
sweet.
Apparently, he's a music teacher now.
There we go.
There you
You
go.
can teach a guitar. That'd be awesome. Like School of Rock.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So knew of Regurgitator, but hadn't necessarily heard the album.
No, so I'd never listened to the actual album.
Oh, wow.
I'd heard random tracks, and I don't know if I've listened to any of these particular tracks. Oh, obviously, I have if I've seen them live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely play a lot of this stuff.
because they would have played this. Yeah, but by the time they were on, there was so much of the crowd right at the front, like singing along. I was like backed away to the back with my drink, like the
Safely.
that was the old person at the back, quietly appreciating the music.
Nice.
That was
And
me
wondering
last
where
time.
the
Yep.
synths were.
I'm wondering where the synths were.
Pondering.
Because I was thinking to myself, I'd already met Saya at this point, so
Yes.
I knew
She's an
Saya.
expectation, right?
So I'd
the
You've got
expectation.
context is...
So I was thinking it's going to be a synth-heavy band, and then they played, and I was just like, "No, you're just three dudes."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Where are the synths?"
Yeah.
So I was like holding my bourbon.
And you've wrestled with this for a while.
Yes, I have, and I've been waiting for this moment in time to share this fact.
Let it go.
I
As-
don't want to let it go.
I know.
I don't want to be frozen. I want.
I was trying to lead it there, but yes,
And I
thank
just,
you.
but no, I want them to bring back synths on tour. That's,
Okay, well,
that's what I
hopefully
want.
If they
Ben
listen,
or Kwan
Yeah,
is,
we'll
Tag 'em up.
is
We'll tag them in the
listening.
post when they go out.
Yeah.
And
They've
they're,
got
they're
all-
active online, so
When we
be able to get their
go when we
attention.
go live with this episode, they've got like 1 week until they play their Brisbane show.
Yeah.
That's right.
yes.
So they,
to ponder.
It
they-
might be a bit
Their
late
choices.
by then
They'll
for
be
them
on-
to bring a synth
no,
in.
no, no. They'll just call Saya and she'll be like, "I'll help you out, guys."
Okay, if I see Sarah on stage when I'm at that gig, I'll know that they've listened to
Why?
the show.
You'll know
Because of
why.
us.
There you
Correct.
go. Thanks very
There
much.
you go.
Cool.
Request has been made.
Grant,
You've been waiting.
same song, second verse.
Yes. No. So my wife has seen them at various
Of course
big
you
day
have.
out.
They're just
Aussie.
around. They're just around.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
Aussie.
makes sense.
So and to be honest, I'm sure I've read the name on set lists, looking at when Big Day Outs were out and they were on there. So
100%.
I'd certainly heard of them and had. There's a familiarity about a couple of the songs. Like, I've definitely heard this before and that before, but no, never seen them live. And I wouldn't have certainly have been able to name a song to them. So
Yeah.
yes,
Fair enough.
Liam,
Hello.
how about you? Surely you and you
being
championing
Brisbane based and all.
Brisbane based,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Fuck, Australia's the best," all the time.
Yes.
So you,
and everything.
I'm going to put money that not only had you heard this, you've heard of Regurgitator, but you'd heard
Well-
this album and maybe even own it.
1997 release, of course. Like,
Maybe own it.
Yeah, he totally would
100
own it.
million% I own
Yeah,
this
of
album.
course.
There you go. I
This
put
was
money
right,
down.
This was right when I was starting to actually listen to Start Good Music in 1997. This was all over the radio. 2-3 singles. I'm like, so I think it was, I forgot what the name of the first song is. That's terrible.
So the Everyday Formula.
No,
was
not
the
that one.
first
Everyday
song.
Formula and Black Bugs. Bang,
Black
bang,
Bugs,
done.
for sure.
100%. I'm like, yep, that's my 2 singles. That's all I need.
I
I'm
love
starting-
that. So that's Liam's formula.
Yep, 2
He
singles
hears
and buys
2
the album.
singles, buys the
Yep.
album. Yeah, and like
And I'm starting to go
that's
to
the criteria.
and I'm starting to go to Big Day Outs and Livids and that sort of stuff, and
Yes,
they're all
yeah.
First
they're
year out of school.
everywhere.
They were at
First year out of
all
school.
King,
those.
but you were a
Yeah,
king.
100%. I was all over this album, and it's
And Brisbane based, you'd have been like,
But have you followed their career?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've got the first
Oh, here we go.
4 albums. I stopped listening. Yeah, I've listened to the other ones after that. I've still gone and seen them. I said earlier, the 20th anniversary shows, the 15th
You
anniversary
saw-
shows, going to gone and seen them. Seen them
so
at
97 through to the early 2000s,
Yeah,
and
seen
then
them-
the
seen them at
anniversary
least-
tours.
Yeah,
Basically.
seen them at
All of
least 10 times. Like, just
Cool.
all over it. Love them. Love this album. Love their live show. The album that always got me into indie music was the compilation of the Hottest 100 from 1996.
Yes.
Which has a song from their album
The one
before
before.
this.
That's right.
Which is called I Sucked a Lot of Cock to Get Where I Am. And just that, the boldness of just
Liam,
saying
that's
that
really
stuff.
rude.
It is really rude.
well,
you're a
and we can
teenager,
talk
that's
about
what-
rude as
But
well
just
when we get to this album.
Introducing that idea of like that cynicism of like it wasn't just saying the word for the sake of it, but also like these are the things that I did to get where I am. It's like it's a music industry song. It's like lots of other industries where you have to do these things to get ahead.
I know, but you're nicer than that.
Yeah, you are nicer than
Well,
you
yeah.
are now.
I
Does
didn't
he
go-
bleep when he sings the song when it's live? Did you put the bleep in, or do you sing the,
Oh, I don't think I sing along to these guys very much.
Ah, well, you should.
I probably should.
It's good for the soul.
But yes, well across this album.
Yeah, I guessed it. I was
Well,
just
across
like, I
this.
thought for record's sake, Carly changed her album. So you originally had a different album, which I've forgotten.
Yeah, so I originally
Faith No More.
chose
Faith
Faith
No
No
More.
More,
Yes.
Angel Dust.
Yeah, and then you went, fuck that,
Yeah.
Regurgitator
We're gonna do this
unit.
properly.
I had to do an Australian.
And I went, all right, I know who they are, and they're Australian, so I feel like I'm going to have one up on Grant on this one.
Yeah.
So, whereas if it was Faith No More, he'd like completely screw me.
Only the cover, basically.
Oh, fair
Okay.
enough.
Swam Easy, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's like the worst song on the
Yeah,
album.
and I've
See,
got-
I thought about that album and I picked it apart in my brain and I thought, that's not a flawless album in my mind. Unit is a flawless album in my mind. So
Sweet.
There
So,
we
and
go.
that's why you're here, right?
Yeah.
that's why I'm here wearing the
That's
shirt
correct.
with the yellow dot.
So it was.
You own
recorded-
other... Oh, sorry, you own other shirts. Regurgitator.
Not for Regurgitator. I was thinking about this. I've got so many band shirts, but this is the only one that I got of theirs.
So they re-released the album rebooted after a couple of years. A couple of years, I think it was,
Yeah,
maybe even
this
longer.
one was a re-something.
Yeah, and then they had red, blue, and green dots on the covers of the album. So there was 3 different rebooted versions of Unit
okay.
that had red, blue, and green. So I assume there's red, blue, and green shirts out there as well.
Yeah. Oh, this one was a recent one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's been a few remasters. I
Mm,
think.
yeah, and special versions and
Extracting
that sort of
maximum value.
stuff. We'll talk a bit more about it as we go.
The boy's got to eat, hey.
It's-
Correct.
You've got to feed
You
the
like my
family.
book?
So it was recorded between May and August 1997 in a studio called the Dirty Room,
Yeah.
which they
Wow.
actually set up themselves. They actually just found an old dilapidated warehouse in the valley here. So
Yeah,
iconic
just around
Brisbane
the
thing.
corner.
Just
Could walk there from here, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just set it up and did it. And they recorded with producer Magoo,
Good old.
who was a
Magoo.
well-known. He was Brisbane.
He was absolutely
based?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he still
yeah,
is. Oh no,
yeah.
he's at Sunshine Coast now.
Yes. Yeah.
But he actually won the best engineer, best producer for this album as well.
Yeah.
The Aria.
Cool.
So yeah, Dr. Magoo did really good things in Australian bands of the time.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to talk about, because what Magoo did with these guys and with a few other bands, I think, was introduce the idea of the more electronic sound.
Yeah.
So I think before this in the earlier to mid 90s, indie rock was very much dudes with guitars, pub rock sort of stuff. And then Magoo was like, well, these bands put a first album out, because it happened to Spiderbait as well, and it happened to a couple of others where they
That's
were like,
right.
they'd put out early stuff, they'd make enough money to be able to get an investment for their next, like, you don't just have to record with whatever you've got lying around. You can actually make decisions to go out and get more stuff. And they would go out and they'd get more synthy instruments. And a lot of that stuff came through. Magoo was the guy who produced a lot of those albums. So it was these guys, was Custard. He produced a couple of later Custard albums where their sound tweaked a little.
Yep.
And it was, that idea that people who, like, the idea might have been super foreign, because, like, oh, no, Australian indie music lovers just want pub rock dudes with guitars thrashing and moshing.
Magoo
And I
changed
think
it.
he was more like, they'll dance to synthy stuff as well as rocking out to pub rock stuff. So I think he really had a huge effect that doesn't get talked about that much.
And it opens with synths.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can't get away from it. Synths
No.
are there in layers. There are.
And
synths.
I can appreciate you going to the concert then and just being like, hang on, what's going on?
Where are my synths?
How do I reconcile
Yeah,
this?
like how can you play I like your old stuff better than your new stuff without
Without
synths?
Yeah.
live on... Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of. I think they said they had a lot of new toys,
Mm-hmm.
and they were
Ah,
sort
okay.
of playing with all sorts of bits and pieces that they
Yeah.
found. Martin was very much like DIY, just trying to create new things out of whatever they had.
Yeah.
And I think they said that he was really money savvy as well, so they might have got a bit of money from the record company, but I think they still did it kind of on the cheap.
On the cheap, yeah.
Hence why the little shed that they
Yeah.
recorded
Hired or
in.
recorded,
Yeah.
Because their
It
first
got
album.
knocked down the week after they recorded it, apparently.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, the first album got a bit of attention, so they would have had a little bit of money, like
Yeah.
not like dead broke going into a recording sort of thing. So they sort of would
Yeah.
have gone from there. But yeah, so I like your old stuff better than your new stuff. Such a perfect opening song
Yes.
when you're going to be like changing your sound. So the first album is not pure rock. It's not just, there are a little bit of electronic elements in there, but nothing to this level.
I did have to listen to because I was thinking, is this a reflection on yourself or is this a reflection of others? So I did listen to the first album and I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah.
You're literally, this is a tongue-in-cheek,
Absolutely.
like throwing it straight out in your face, opening
it's
track.
different.
Like
Yeah.
we are opening with layered synthesizers and that's what you thought what we were doing before.
Sorry, not
This is
sorry.
what we're doing.
Soz, not soz, as
Yeah.
the young folks say.
Yeah,
Exactly. As young people say.
It was a preemptive strike.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it
you,
was.
you just neuter anyone from being able to say
Yeah.
that with a like
Yeah.
legitimately, I know we don't like you anymore, we liked your old stuff. It's like, yeah, we knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
We don't
so
care.
here is the song.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here, yeah.
But the vocals are still the same. and there are harmonies in the chorus, which I always appreciate. But it gets stuck in your head though, doesn't it?
Jeez,
So
doesn't it
the
just?
vocals on the verses are fed through like that really high pitched whine. Like you almost can't recognize them as words. Like it's just so that, and then the chorus is just Quan singing his normal singing voice.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I don't know about the technical side of things. As I said before, I'm not a musician, but I know that when Quan wrote the music, he recognised that his voice couldn't get as high as it needed to be. So they did some tricky, technically kind of computery things
Well, you
with his
basically,
voice.
all you have to do is plug your words into a synth and play the note, and it will replicate that word in that note.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. It's
Yeah.
as simple as that. And so they would have been able to just create whatever they wanted, because they do it throughout the album. And they have that synth voice. They can hit the highest or lowest note that you want to do by manipulating it with electronic music, which is why electronic music is fun.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Ben actually sings a lot of the songs now that Quan recorded in the higher pitch.
Okay. So Quan's voice doesn't quite get there anymore.
Doesn't get
maybe.
there live. Yeah.
The funniest thing about this song is then, so this was released as a single. No, this one didn't get in there. A year later, they released "I Like Your Old Remix Better Than Your New Remix," which was this song played as a rock song, no synths, and just played pure guitar, and then tweaked the lyrics a bit to be more like rock sort of stuff.
Those cheeky little
It
buggers.
was so funny.
Oh,
And then that song got to number 27 in the Hottest 100 of 1998. So it was
That's
just
right.
people just loved the embracing of that idea of we don't care about your old stuff. We totally embrace your new stuff. Was just people were just so on board with it. It was great.
Yeah, I think it was Quan who actually said that he was going to gigs after that first album, and it was all blokes, big kind of blokey blokes who were kind of getting into fights and stuff like that, and they wanted to change who were coming to the gigs, and they wanted people to dance. They wanted people to be at their gigs and lighten the mood a bit.
Very
And I
different
think
vibe
this was-
to-
I think
correct.
this was a really good way of doing it.
Just before they went to record the album, they actually went over to a tour and did the US tour with Helmet and the Melvins.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
And Quan said, "I remember being completely frightened the whole time. They were real hard asses. Helmet were a little army unit, and their fans were fucking really intense, really aggressive guys. Yeah, really full on. So maybe it did have an effect. I think that's where they were we don't want this. We want to be as
That
far
is
away
not
from
them.
this as possible. So we're gonna synth it up and have dance parties."
Yeah.
And then later on, 2000, their manager Paul Curtis said that Yeomans had also said, "Thank God Grinspoon came along because they took all the male angst away from our shows." So all the people who loved that dirty blokey rock, which
Yes.
Grinspoon ended up evolving into a different thing as well. I don't think they
Exactly.
were that interested in it, but
Yeah.
their sound was more that, and people gravitated more that way.
It's funny, following the chronology of it all, right? That's very interesting.
But the track moves into that everyday formula.
Yeah, it was the first single.
Which is really good because it is that full rock band sound.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
kind
And
of
it's formulaic rock, and then going, "This is us doing what we're supposed to,"
Yeah.
and throwing it back in your face. We've already tricked you with the synths, but now we're going, "Ta-da! We can still do what we did before." But there are the do's,
yeah.
which are
Can I
so
say lyric buddy?
sweet.
So
Can you
sweet.
lyric buddy? Do.
Yeah,
Do, do,
everybody
do,
do. So the female vocals, and that's and so is it Juan who does the vocals?
Yeah, they share.
they
They
share,
share, but
yeah.
when you say
Well-
female vocals, I reckon that was Quan
That would have
going
been
do,
Quan.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that was just cute as hell.
Yeah. He loves cute stuff. So he loves pop music. Him and we've done Spiderbait many, many years ago, 5 years ago now. Janet English from Spiderbait, they were together for a little while, and they had a band called Happy Land where they just made this super sugary pop, just absolute pure pop music. It was very
gorgeous.
cool.
And you
Yeah.
owned it all.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was actually
absolutely.
those two
Proudly.
that did the album cover for Unit.
Yeah.
So they called themselves the Shits,
Yeah.
and they won the ARIA for the best cover, and it was Quan and Janet who designed
Oh,
it. Yeah.
that's really
they were a
cute.
super cute couple back in the day, but I think Kwan actually mentions in interviews how she's really influenced like his songwriting and his approach, because she was like super feminist and a really strong character, and that's really given him a lot to think about and a lot to kind of write about as well, which is why a lot of his commentary is like very, you know, feminist and very, I don't know how you would describe it, angsty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he a riot girl at heart, do you think?
I've seen him in a dress, so maybe.
Fair enough. Cool.
Cool. Carly, other songs you would like to hit on, some highlights? What do you reckon?
So
You have 13 to choose from, right?
as I mentioned before in Black Bugs, so that is
Nice.
their most popular or most played live song.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Nice.
don't know if they're counting it when they play it with Pogo Go Show, but that's a beautiful, beautiful song.
It's a great song. Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm glad that
It's
I
literally
agree.
about playing video games.
it is. Ben
Which I
talked
really
about
enjoy.
it. Yeah.
Because I play video games every day, and like, if I was still in a band, I think I would actually have to play a song about playing video games.
It was
and
a
they've
game
done it.
called Turok Dinosaur Hunter
Nice.
that Ben used to play when he was a kid. So yeah, it was all basically around that computer game.
I like how literal that was, though. As well, there was like no subtext,
No hidden meanings there.
no nothing. It was like literally like black bugs, like the black bugs.
Yeah.
Like,
coming out of the game.
and then it's video game done.
Yeah. So he says,
Set up the TV too long now and I'm not the same. I've gotta remind myself that it's just a game. It's getting harder and harder to get to sleep at night. I think I let them shoot me so that I can die.
Oh,
just like I just like he like that. It's an addiction thing too. So it sounds
course
it's
it
really
is.
cute. So a lot of the themes of the album are around artificiality and being sold, and like you're a unit, you're a product, you're being sold, and you're being sold too. And it's like, oh, it's a cute little thing about video games, but it's also about addiction. Like he literally can't stop playing, and there are bugs coming out of the TV to come and swarm all over him, and he can't not see them. So I think it's really cool. Like they hide it really well. Like it's a really very cynical album, which it's not always hidden, because there's some stuff in here that's like super obviously cynical and just looking at like that artificiality and that plasticality. But this one is one where it's like, oh, it's a cute song about video games, but it's also about addiction to something that someone has sold you and now you can't put it down.
Oh, well, thanks for ruining it for me.
It's got a really cute video clip too. You
It's
should
an
go and
awesome
check out the
video
videos.
clip.
Like it's
Their
all
video clips are just sensational.
I think a lot
So
about it.
budget.
It's all
Very
cute animation, little
Yeah.
video game characters and bugs and stuff like that. It's very cool.
However, the world of sleaze,
What do you think of World of Sleaze?
so they use all of the naughty words.
They do. I didn't
So-
write any lyrics down because I was like, I'm not going to be able to say them, so I'm just not going to write them
Just
down.
gonna don't write.
I did write
so
the
I didn't-
letters.
I didn't
I've
write
put them
them.
here
You've
if
got-
anyone wants me to say them.
No, I
D
didn't.
and C and
Yeah.
S and B.
Yeah,
and-
they said all the naughty words, and they had on the album artwork as well. They had like on the Spotify version, like this album is not for the under 18s. It is not safe for the youth. Blah blah blah. And I had a look at it, and I was like, "Is it though?" Because like from what I've- and then
Then you listen.
and then I
Yes.
listened and
Yes.
went, "Oh, okay, you're teaching young children all of the bad words." So, and when I was talking to my partner about it, and I described this song, he said, "Is it like when I was 4 and I discovered the word bum?" And I was like, "Yes, honey, yes, it is."
Like that, but even
It's like exactly like that.
Yeah, it's so cute. It's
How
like
did
a
you-
4-year-old saying bum and going, I just said bum. So, which happened with his own actual kids. So, so that uses all the naughty words, but the backing vocals have effects on them. It's a really big chorus, guitar intro, that's sweet vocals again. Not for kids.
no.
Not for kids, but
Apparently-
it's got a Parkin double tick.
Nice.
Make it that easy.
Oh.
There you
Make
go.
it that easy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
Fair
nice.
enough.
And
Well,
it's not something
apparently
that a
it
younger
wasn't-
me would have done.
Apparently, it wasn't for Alan Jones and his ilk because they tried to get the album banned.
Right.
He's
Some
a
of the
complex
Christian
character
right.
as
Oh,
well.
is he complex or is he just?
Is
Straight
that
up
too,
asshole.
yeah, is he just a
all
full
good.
blown?
We can be an anti-Alan Jones podcast. That's fine. We don't have to
Okay.
straddle both sides here.
Yeah. Fuck,
But of course, if you try to get something banned and you try to take it off the shelves at Kmart,
fanning a
what
flame
is going to
sometime.
happen?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
kids are going to love it. The
It
kids.
goes 3 times platinum. That's what happens.
Thanks, Alan and friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without that help,
yeah,
free market.
exactly.
What is no such thing as bad publicity?
Every year, Brisbane Library puts out a list of books that are banned in schools, and
Really?
says these are the songs banned in schools, and you can get
Including
them-
songs, books and songs. Sorry.
No, just books.
books.
Just books that are banned in schools, so you can get them, and so you get them from your local library, and it gets like loads of retweets. So
Yeah.
and like loads of libraries all over the world do it by just saying this book has been banned in your school. Guaranteed that kid's going to pick up 1984 and be like, "You are the big brother."
Oh, it's already here.
But
Yeah.
you talked about using these words as like a tee-hee-hee. I said a bad word, but there's more to it. Like they're actually describing this world that's filled with sex, but like sex sells, and we use sex to sell everything. But then we don't talk about it. Like we go where we pretend, oh no, the world is too pure. And as soon as someone actually says, "Hey, the world's full of sex," it's like, oh no, shush, shush, shush,
Oh,
quiet
no.
that person.
Let's
You're
not
over
talk
there.
about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's still filled with sex, and it's like sex is used to sell everything, and it's so it's the spiritual successor for me to suck a lot of cock to get where I am is like that idea of people have to use their sexuality and use their sex to do whatever they have to do.
Whatever
Which
it takes,
leads-
Liam.
Whatever
Which
it
leads
takes.
me to the question, Liam.
Yes.
Would you lick my asshole?
No, I would not.
Thank you.
It's taken this long
But-
for a question like that.
Yeah.
I thought you'd never ask.
And it's
So-
a polite but firm decline.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hope you'd never ask. But what a song.
This is such a nerd fest, this song.
Yeah.
Like, I've never proclaimed, like, I don't play computer games, so I'm not nerdy type. But, I mean, they refer to a Doctor Who assistant,
So-
a Sesame Street character,
Yeah.
a Japanese toy writer.
So,
So-
there's 2 references to Doctor Who. So he says, I've got the special effects like the BBC. So that was always the thing
That's
of like
right.
the Doctor Who was always had
nice.
terrible special effects.
Yep.
And then I'm tough under pressure, just like Sarah
Sarah
Jane
Jane
Smith,
Smith.
who was the Doctor Who companion, who was well known for just screaming a lot. Like as soon as aliens or monsters showed up, like that was
Dang.
and like yeah, it was a big, like not in a really bad way, but that was just one of her things that she tended to do a lot. So it's like, yeah, this
enough.
is definitely my favorite song on the album.
Is it?
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah. This is
Wow.
amazing. I love this song so much. Like it's
But
just
you're a total geek as well, aren't you?
yes. So,
So,
I'm like picking
yeah.
this stuff. We have our second ever Ingwie Malmsteen reference. So it was referenced in the Fun Love and Criminals album we did the other week, and then he's on this album he references it again.
I'm the host with the most still I got Smiley. I got the special effects like the BBC, man. I got food like Mumsky's got chops. It seems that I'm so bad they get LL to call the cops.
Oh my god.
So we've got our
Okay.
second Ingwie
Because
Malmsteen
it is
reference.
like the vocals are like rapping.
Yes, this is
But
100%
like-
their hip hop song.
But like not like a black guy rapping.
It's not bravado. It's not like
No.
chest beating bravado hip hop, which you get a lot of.
Yeah.
It's more like I'm weak and I'm small, and you know big things scare me, which also comes from the third song formerly known as well as like I'm not this big chest beating guy. I'm scared and I run and I'm not. You know, it's kind of like I can rap. It's there's a cool little overlap of like things I'm good at, but also things that I'm not great at.
Yeah, but like so there's sweet vocals and some, and then he's like, I'm rapping, but also am I rapping? Am I good enough? And it's kind of like got that like twinge to it of like going, I'm trying to like use my chops here on this particular track. And look, I'm using swear words, which totally gives me reps with the kids. Yeah. So I will never know his intent, but
I think it's
I've
just
listened. I have listened.
Yeah, I think it's just they just don't think that they're, we're the best, we're an awesome band, everyone should listen to us. They're just like, hey, we're just guys who are fucking around. And if you like that, cool. But if you don't like it, we're not that worried about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say that a lot when you hear interviews with them and reflections on when they were making the album, that they they weren't there to sell records. They didn't really, they were just having fun and mucking about and listening to a lot of, what did they say? They were listening to a lot of Don Henley at the time. So, and Prince, obviously. Because
Well, I was going to say, let's talk about
Yeah.
track number 3, right?
Track
Yes.
3, yes. What a song.
Formerly known as?
Song
The
formerly known as. So exclamation mark, the song
Yes.
formerly known as.
Yes,
Number
funky.
6 in the hottest 100 of that year. So
Right.
absolute barn burner. Everybody loved it. Yeah. Which is great because it's like that, again, it's that anti-hard living, hard rock, hard partying anthem. It's like, I don't like those things. I just
Yeah.
want to stay at home and I want to hang out. And it's like,
Well,
dancing
there
funky
were
pants.
lyrics that jumped out at me.
You won't see me travel raving, baby, 'cause I won't ever look that good. Rather dance in ugly pants in the comfort of a lounge room in suburbia. Things don't get no better like you and me.
And it's like
nice. Lyric buddies.
lyric buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was just like, oh my god, that's me. Like
Yeah.
I've got those comfort pants that you don't wear in public, or it's that you might use to pick up your Uber Eats. And that's what I dance in my living room. But then I really enjoy at the end the thank you, Mr. DJ.
Yeah. Nice.
Do.
Yeah, like that was really cool. But yeah, that so that was the 4th single as well of the
Yes.
album.
Grant,
Yeah.
what did you think of it? I'm
Yeah,
interested to hear your thoughts.
I wrote a 4th single, Prince,
Yeah.
funky guitar, and then the writings get bad, but I had lyrics to the effect of things do get no better than you and me. Things
Yeah.
like- so
That's the whole thing. Is like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be hanging out in my home with the two
I
of us.
really liked that one as well. But as I heard it, you read the title and I was like, that's going to be taking a take on Prince
song.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
It
symbol,
absolutely was.
and it absolutely was.
Because
Yeah.
it builds up in the bridge before the last verse. Like there's like it's orchestral, but it's not actually orchestral. It's just synth stuff, and then you get that whole crowd singing. That's right. Like it's a real.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's like the whole crowd sing along moment in the show. Like the whole
And
everyone
it
loves
starts with them just speaking in the studio. Is that the one?
No, that's,
Oh, that's
I Piss Alone.
Oh, I Piss Alone,
think.
right?
Is it? No.
1, 2, 3, 4
1, 2,
starts.
3, 4. Sorry, is the one that
Yeah.
starts
Yes.
with them.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah, so
4.
it's
Yeah,
literally
oh,
just
sorry.
them talking. Like they've just turned the recording on and just see what
And then-
happens.
Exactly.
And then they just blast out this punk rock for 50 seconds of
Mayhem.
yeah,
Yeah. So which is funny because when I was 13, I was in love with a boy who was 16, and he was in a band, right? So obviously he was the best boy in the world. And he wrote a
What
song.
position? Oh, what position? What
He
instrument?
he was the drummer of all things.
Oh,
And I was into the drummer, not the guitarist
Yes,
or the
Yeah,
singer.
or the
cool.
lead. Yeah,
Yeah,
lead
so
singer, yeah. Okay.
but he they wrote me a song, and it was a 1-second song called G, and it was in the chord of G, and they just shouted G, and he hit the drums to G, and it was for me because my name is George. And so that being a 50-second
Young
song,
lust. I mean, love is a beautiful thing.
oh, it was so fucking beautiful. But that whole thing reminded me of that shouty punky thing that you write for your mate with your 1, 2, 3, 4. You make a lot of noise and do what you can in under a minute, and you're like, yeah, we fucking did it, and then chuck it on the album.
yeah. Carly, we're actually running close to time.
Yeah.
So
Are
we?
any other we've there's
Call
so
the
much stuff
big
we
ones.
haven't talked
Well,
yet.
we
Yes.
have to talk about Just Another Beautiful Story, surely.
Yeah.
That's
Well, what do you got, Carly?
Oh.
What do you want to?
I really wanted to talk about Modern Life. And
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a drum beat on that.
Double ticks there.
That when it plays, it takes me back to Livid 96,
Nice.
which was, incidentally, I think the first time I saw them.
What?
So-
96, forgive me.
Livid?
For,
So
Livid.
Livid was the
Okay.
Brisbane Festival. You probably
Yeah.
heard about it.
No, I have
Over at
never.
Davies Park at
No, I wasn't here yet.
West End. So it started. Yep, and then moved to
First
the
time I
RNA.
ever saw Regurgitator live, everybody played there.
Okay.
Powderfingers and your tumbleweeds and your silver chairs, but there were also international acts as well. So it moved over to the Echo Showgrounds
Okay.
eventually. But back then, Regurgitator played 96, but the drum beat on this particular song takes me back to that moment. And it must have been a band that was playing earlier on in the day, and as you approach, this was my first big festival, and all I could hear was this drum beat, and it got my heart racing, and that's what I still get when I hear Modern Life.
Nice.
It's just
What a
that
credit
drum
to them.
beat.
Well done,
Yeah.
guys.
It got a
That's
heart for
awesome.
me.
It got a heart.
It got a little heart.
Have you
yeah.
seen the film clip?
Guitars and drums, sweet vocals, rocky chorus, and like just like powerful, beautiful. Yeah,
It's
song.
one of my favourites. And the film clip, if you go down to, not Ann Street, the one that's parallel to Ann Street, where the zoo is.
Zoo's on Ann Street.
It is Ann Street.
Yeah.
So the woman actually walks down nearby where Tim Guitars used to be and across down that street and stands in the middle near that big car park. And it's the most Brisbane film clip.
Yeah.
It's
That was
awesome.
really nice. Can I just say, I own an innovation space in Charlotte Street in Brisbane, which I use for like corporate events and stuff like that. However, Screenfeeder recorded some of their documentary in my innovation space. So I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm part of punk rock royalty of Brisbane because they use
Queensland.
my space.
Don't
Of
say the
Queensland,
South
yeah,
Shore.
of
Queensland.
Queensland, just because they did that.
East coast of
So now
Australia.
I can go to Ann Street and walk down and just be like, "Yeah, I'm part of Regurgitator now."
It's it's a magic film clip.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, George, you said it album ends on Just Another Beautiful Story.
Yes.
Beautiful way to end the album.
Longest track, right?
Longest
It
track,
is, it
slow,
is.
spaced out.
Sergeant Peppersy.
It is very Sgt. Peppersy. That's what I had too.
Yeah.
Like the last couple of things.
It does lyrically as well. It's got like almost lifting from the Beatles. Which I just heard, and I was just like, oh, that's a really cool way of just being like life and death and all that kind of thing. But yeah, like that, like all I am and all I'll ever be just reminds me of like another track from the 60s, and I can't remember what it is. But oh no, Pink Floyd. Sorry, it reminds me of Pink Floyd. But yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. So it's got like synthesizers and the full band, really sweet vocals, synth solo, drum roll
Yeah, so-
in there.
So it's the perfect amalgamation of their two styles from the rest of the album. So it starts off really spacey with the synth, like it feels like you're actually going in space, and he talks
Yeah.
about going into outer space. But then the chorus is like bang, drum, guitar, dum, 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 and then like just fades out of that into like the big spacey synth stuff again. So it's like that idea of like, hey, we can still do both these two styles, and they actually work together in one song if we work at it.
Sure.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, so they did a good job with that.
Beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
a good. That could have only been an outro song.
Yes. Oh, you couldn't put
Absolutely.
anything
Yeah, I think
after
so.
that. That would be.
It was
You could put anything
perfect.
after it, and you couldn't have put it like anywhere else in the album.
no.
No,
It
it's
was
like
the perfect end.
everything else
Yeah.
is like 2 or 3 minutes long, and it was like, yeah, definitely like their epilogue to the record. And the record, how long was the record in total?
38 minutes, I
38
think.
minutes.
38. That's a good length.
36:17 or something.
36,
That's right, right?
17. Yes.
17,
Mhm.
yes.
Cool. Carly, any other songs you want to hit or anything else you want to add before we go to your final pitch?
Oh, look, I think I'm ready to pitch.
Think you're ready?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Give us your final pitch on George and Grant. Anything else that was
No, we're good.
burning
No,
a
I
hole in
think-
your soul if we don't say it?
No, of course, I just really enjoy the fact that they have a song called Mr. T. Like,
That was nice.
yeah, I just like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not have a song called Mr. T? Doesn't have to be related to him at all,
No.
but like have
It's
a song
about
called Mr.
setting
T.
your sisters free. So I don't
Yes,
think it
and
was
I wrote
about
that.
the Mr. T.
No,
No.
I wrote "Set Your Sisters Free."
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and
it's. I thought
quandary.
I actually thought that was a bit sultry. Don't you think? Like his singing style was like sultry in that one, and one line is vocal and guitar, like in harmony. Like they sing, like just at the end of the line, they have the guitar and vocals doing exactly the same thing,
Nice.
but like not for the whole track, like not for the whole like verse. It's just this one line, and I was like, "Ooh, that hits you. That's good." So yes, it was a really nice thing to listen to.
Cool. Okay, then Carly, we're ready. Give us your
Let's go.
final pitch on Regurgitator's
Okay.
unit.
So I've come full circle on this album in the last week. So at first I thought, is it going to be an album that appeals to two people who are not from Brisbane originally, who weren't here in the time of when it was
In the
big?
prime
Yeah,
when it was.
because to me, is it a time and place thing? Is it something that others won't get? Is it something that, you know, a 40-something-year-old from Brisbane who was a kind of awkward and
Aren't
very
we all?
kind of, well, yeah, I guess we all were at
course.
20, weren't we?
Oh,
Yeah.
just think in totality.
I was probably my most confident when I was 20, and I've just
Right.
degenerated since then.
I guess, yeah, for me it was, I came full circle and went, no, I absolutely still love this album. And picking it apart over the last week has made me love it even more.
Nice.
So
Good.
Love when that
I
happens.
forgive them for inspiring me to buy some silver vinyl pants at an op shop that I then wore to the zoo. And we all know how cool and refreshing it is at the zoo. Because of this album about Polyester Girl, about all
Yes.
this kind of 80s stuff, I went all the
Right.
way back to the kind of 80s kind of fashion at the time. So, but lyrically and musically, it still holds up. Like I still absolutely adore this album. It's still relevant. It's still danceable. I will still dance to it in 2 weeks' time when I go to see them do the 25th anniversary tour.
Jeez.
It's an album that transcends time and space, and it has become a cult classic, and in my humble opinion, is flawless.
Jeez.
Nice.
There you
Sweet,
go.
that was a
Great
really
pitch.
nice
You've,
rendition.
yeah.
You typed that one out.
Yeah.
George,
Hello.
final thoughts and a thumbs up or a thumbs down for Regurgitator's unit.
So,
Become the unit.
Regurgitator unit. So, what I didn't say when I went to go and see them live is so Stress of Leisure played first, and I know them, friends with them, went to go and watch them. Scream Feeder, friends with a couple of them, went to go and see them, bought some vinyl, and I was really excited for Regurgitator, and there were no synths. And so I was like, okay, well, what are you going to do for me without synths? But I think that, is it Ben and Juan?
Yep, Ben and Quan. Yep.
They are so friendly with each other. They've known each other so long that it felt like the gig became a frat house. And their banter between each other was so on the edge of being like I can't think of the word, but like edge of acceptable. And it put me off, and so I actually left during Regurgitator. So I left the gig. So I was like, I'm fine with what I've seen. But then when you brought the album, I was like, but I'll give it a crack. And I was like, Cynthia time. So I'm fully involved in all of their musicianship and fully involved in so many of these tracks. And really enjoyed listening to it end to end. But I couldn't get over the frat boy mindset with the world of sleaze and I will lick your asshole, because for me it just felt like they were taking the liberties that they could take as guys in the scene, and they really put me off. So if I was to listen to the album, I would probably make a playlist of their rocky songs, a playlist of their synthy songs, and then remove a couple of tracks. So I couldn't make it a flawless album, but I could make it something that I appreciate is a Brisbane iconic album. So, or an Australian iconic album.
Yeah,
Like, it's
I
bigger
think
than
Australian,
that.
for
Australian iconic album. Like, and they did push boundaries, and they did like cross over genres. And like there was bluesy moments and all sorts, and that was really great. But it couldn't be flawless for me because it just pushed some of my buttons in a way that I was uncomfortable with. So thank you for bringing it for me. But I can't give it a flawless from me. Sorry.
Cool. All
Sure.
good. Thank you, George.
Thanks,
Over to
George.
Grant.
There we go.
Final thoughts and a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah, thank you. So I'd never, as I said, never listened to. It couldn't have named a Regurgitator song. There's a lot to like, and certainly you've given me more context around what the first album was, and you'd listen to the first album. I loved the first 5 tracks, so I enjoyed The World of Sleaze. If you again don't necessarily listen to the words around that, I didn't enjoy I Piss Alone. I just
It's a lot.
it is a lot. I think that
Yeah.
I
that's
personally
very
find it
confronting.
relatable
okay.
because I do not enjoy. If there is another woman in the stall next to me, I will hold it. But yeah, so I could relate to that track.
Okay.
Probably more than the others.
And right. So only that one, and we didn't even speak about Polyester Girl, which is a cool track as well. I can't believe with the whole thought. That end 1, 2, 3, 4. I just thought, do we need this? Probably not. I think the boundary challenges I didn't have too much of a problem with. I was like, whoa, okay, let's look at just reading the title. You cannot misinterpret track number 8. So I'm going to say no, but there was there genuinely a number of double ticks. Everyday Formal, the Black Bugs, The World of Sleaze, Polyester Girl, Just Another Beautiful Story. I would never have listened to those tracks without you proposing it. So thank you, but I'm going to say it's not flawless from mine. Liam.
Liam.
Cool. So yeah, like I said, know this album very, very well. Bought it when it came out, all over it. It's actually been on the periphery of me nominating it myself. But there's always been something that's been holding me back, which is, so yeah, awesome, like music, all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
The thing that's always held me back is a memory from when I first got the album, and I've never liked Polyester Girl.
Really?
And I don't know why.
Is it because it's creepy?
It is a bit creepy.
It is a bit,
But
but
that's
it's...
the intention
I think
of
that
the
is it.
song.
Yeah.
And that's
It
what I
is
thought.
about
He's singing
love,
it
woman
Lars
being...
and the Real Girl?
He's singing it from the perspective of someone who is creepy, but he's saying this is a creepy person singing this song. So there's no concern about that. And I don't know why, but it's always just bugged me. And I can never be able to say why. But going back and listening to it, I was like, I'm kind of over that. I was like,
Okay.
I probably haven't sat down and listened to the album in a very long time. I just know it really well from having listened to it 1,000 times when it came out.
20 plus years.
Yeah,
25
like
years,
and
man.
seeing them all the time. So
Sure.
I was like, yeah, I don't dislike that song. I don't know because I don't know why I disliked it the first time.
Yeah. Okay.
But the thing that now got me, so they had a couple more albums after this, and then they had one called Mishmash. And I reviewed Mishmash for the blog that I was writing at the time. Look at me,
Yeah.
I'm talking out my blog. And I didn't like that album at all because it was a mishmash. It was like every single thing every single idea
Just
they had, they
everything.
just threw it at the wall. And then they were just like, and here's the wall. And it's like, this isn't an album. It's just like a whole bunch of...
Was that the one that they wrote when they were in the Bubble thing?
No,
in
I think
Melbourne?
Bubble was the one after Art.
Oh, see,
think.
I missed all that. I didn't
Yeah,
live in
so
Australia, so...
Mishmash is just, it's too many ideas.
Okay.
And as I was going through this album, I've kind of felt the same way. It's too many different styles. It's rock and it's grunge and it's punk and it's synth 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like and sometimes it just really starts affecting the flow. So it's like you've got that 1, 2, 3, 4. So you come out of Polyester Girl in a
Into
dancing
1, 2,
kind of
3,
mood,
4.
and then you got this 1, 2, 3, 4 thing where it just
49
thrashes
seconds.
away. And then you got Mr. T, which is like I found it like almost shoegazy rock.
Yeah,
And
right.
yet that came out of because what goes into
That goes into Just Another
Just
Beautiful
another
Story
beautiful story.
yeah.
from Mr. T.
Yeah, so you've got I Piss Alone, which is like starts soft and then ends really hard
Crazy.
thrashy.
Yeah.
Which then goes into Unit,
Unit.
which is just like a spoken word, like really spacey Kid A style
Yes.
piece. Which goes into I Will Lick Your Asshole, like a really synthy hip hop. And every song, like the genre feels almost as far from possible as the song that came before it.
Yep.
And so I'm going to say that it's not flawless for that reason. But normally what we then do is go, I think if they took this song away or if they did this, it would be. I'm not going to do that because this is 100% who they are. They're just like, we had all
Glad to
these
talk.
ideas.
Yep.
This is it.
This is we loved all these ideas, and kudos for them for just going, we love all these things and throwing it up there. But I think it held it back from being a flawless album. My favorite thing on the next album, which was called Art,
Yes.
there's a song on there. Do you guys remember the TV show Are You Being Served?
Yeah, I love it.
There's a song on there that is a 5.5-minute remix of the opening theme from Are You Being Served, which is just, it's like a 80s 90s UK sitcom, all very bawdy and very like lots of sex jokes and stuff like that, and it's all that sort of stuff. And it's just like 5 minutes of the remix of the theme song from like, which is like an 8-second theme song.
Yeah.
I was like yeah, they're just these guys who grab an idea and just if they can evolve it enough, they're just like, yeah, we'll throw it up there and we'll see what happens, which I think is really cool and noble, but it also prevents you from getting a flawless album.
Okay.
So that's why I couldn't
Well
give
done.
it flawless.
And I think that they are held up as like icons in Australia, but they've struggled to make it across the seas, probably because of those types of things.
Attributes.
No, they didn't go. They didn't go to the States of like originally because Quan had something in their contract because he didn't want to leave Janet for more than, I think it was 4 weeks or something.
Oh, wow.
So they didn't want to do the big tours.
Okay.
And I think right at the start when they were starting to get big, because they didn't go, then that's
window.
it was that
Missed
window
window.
shut.
And I think they're quite known in Asian countries, aren't they? Like Japan.
Yeah,
They've
they
toured
played
Japan
in
and Vietnam,
Japan,
and that's like
Thailand.
not necessarily Europe, I guess. But yeah,
I saw them in the UK.
Yeah.
It was 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon at a walkabout in Brighton, and there was literally
I'm
about
from
20
Brighton.
people there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was awesome
Yeah, I'm
because
sure.
I was there
Yeah.
without the crowds.
Yeah.
I got to have banter with them. And
That's awesome.
yeah, but I think that particular tour, they just did Shepherd's Bush and the Astoria, like all the kind of Aussie hangout places in the UK.
So yeah, thank you very much for coming along, Carly, and
My
sharing
pleasure.
Regurgitator. I actually kind of wanted to nominate it because I wanted to hear these guys' thoughts on it all the way
Exactly.
along, but I never could because I could never make it flawless. So I was so glad that when I saw you drop it, I was like, "That's so awesome! I really want to chat about it. That's so good because it's definitely one of my favorite albums, even if not a flawless one."
Yeah.
And we want to thank everybody for listening. We have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are Flawless AMP on all of those. So you can join the conversation, share or like our posts, and give us a rating. Every little bit helps us find more music lovers like you. As mentioned, we also have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/flawlessamp. If you'd like to back us, please check that out. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.
Never